Okay, the humble burger. Millions of recipes out there, millions of different ways. Everyone thinks they make the best one. We're just gonna make a simple burger for our meat lovers and our vegetarian friends. So we're gonna do them simultaneously. We'll start with the vegetarian option, just so that I don't touch the meat and then the vegetarian stuff. So we've got some mashed potatoes. Just want to get enough out just to make one vegetarian patty. Then we've got some chickpeas that's been pre-cooked and drained. You can mash them up. I like to keep them whole to sort of have that texture where as you're biting into it, you get these little beautiful pockets of chickpea through the mash, because it's not very textural in the sense that it's all soft. So we're going to do our best to try and make that better. We're just going to keep that to one side while we're going to flavor both the patties up. We've got some spring onions. You can use normal onions as well. We're just going to take off the tips into the fire. And we're going to slice that thinly. We're going to share this between the two patties. Here I've got 500 grams of ground beef. So obviously it's too much for one patty. With coriander and parsley. Thank you, Woolies, for pre-washing everything. Makes life a hell of a lot easier. So we're just going to mix them up together. Just give them a coarse chop. I'm going to split this up. Just don't overpower it with the herbs. That looks to be enough. Now that we've got our herbs and our base in there, we're going to season it up. Salt for both. You can use flaky salt, anything. It's your preference. I just like the runny salt for this kind of things because I feel it sort of dissolves faster. Okay, there we go, some salt. You can taste it and season it afterwards as well, so don't be too hard on yourself. Some pepper. Garlic powder. Maybe a half a teaspoon. For the mince, I'm gonna give it a teaspoon. Onion powder, again half, and 1 teaspoon at the mince end. Beautiful stuff, magic. Smoked paprika, again half, and we'll give it 1 teaspoon for the mince. Lovely grated cheddar. You can use mozzarella or Gouda or whatever you like. Emmental, I just prefer cheddar. I do this just because I like to add as much fat into everything instead of trying to put it on top. So when you bite, you get the meat and the fat all, in the case of the vegetarian, you bite through, how to say this, through the mince and the chickpeas, but you get the oiliness and the fattiness so that it's not like oil and dry. So that's why I do this. And to the beef, I'm going to be adding some kidney fat. At any butcher, this is the stuff that they sort of discard, but it is amazing. It's just the fat that's around the kidneys, and if you keep in the fridge, as you can see, it kept its texture, so it'll sort of work through nicely. So the ratio that I usually do is 1/3 fat, 2/3 meat. So the meat that I used was lean meat. So there's not a lot of fat in there, so I need to add this to sort of add to that flavor. Okay, so now we're going to be mixing this up, and you can squash it just to incorporate everything nicely. This is now our vegetarian patty. Just gonna use my hands. Now, I can generally judge by the size of my hand how big I want it. So this is our vegetarian patty that we're just gonna shape up quickly. As you can see, everything is nice and down together. So we'll keep that to one side. On the other side of the cutting board with the meat, making sure it doesn't touch or go there or anything. Actually, I'm just gonna shift this a little bit like this. Don't want any touchy business going on. Just gonna mince this nicely. I don't know if you can see from your side, I'll show you now when it's done, where instead of just that red from the meat, we've got that lovely fat in between. Now, the same, because we're not adding any breadcrumbs or eggs or anything like that, when you work it, I don't know if it's a protein or what it is, it just sort of binds beautifully. So you'll see now, when I make the patty, it just works. I think it's when you work it, like everything in life, gotta work it. So again, it's mixed up nicely. Gonna take sort of my palm size. And there we go. I like to be quite generous. This burger is not going to be like filled with barbecue sauce and all that sort of stuff. It is just to appreciate the meat and the simplicity of a burger. I know, as I said, there's a million ways to do it, but this is just a simple burger. We've got some beautiful brioche buns that's been buttered that we're just going to toast. Then, to make the meaty burger more meatier, we've got some bacon on the fire as well, and some bone marrow. As you can see, my buns have been toasted beautifully. So just want to have a look to see that the bacon and everything. The thing about bacon, if it is still stuck, leave it. It will tell you when it's ready to be turned around. So see, there we go. You see that color? It told me it's time for me to be turned around. Now, if you're going to turn that around when it's not cooked properly, it'll get stuck. So, behave. So now we're just going to move this around, because now we're not going to do any more vegetarian stuff on here. The vegetarian patty we're going to be doing on a pan. So we just want to drop this down closer to the fire. Then meanwhile, we're going to get a pan on there to make that nice and hot. And while that's getting hot and the bone marrow and everything's getting cooked, we're going to be working our magic on the buns. So on the bottom, chickpea mayo. There we go. Remember, we're making two of the same burgers. Some Dijon mustard. Just a touch, not too much. You just want that hint of mustard. Now this is where everyone that likes your barbecue sauce, the sacrilege tomato ketchup. Our bacon is ready. So we're just gonna keep that to one side. As you can see, it's beautiful. It's already been smoked, but we've got it on the fire as well. Oh, look at that. We've got some beautiful bone marrow that's going on over there. When it's got this color, you can turn it over, because you have to cook it through the bone to get it cooked all the way through. And it's at this stage that you can season it as well, because now all that fat has started to melt and it'll actually take up the salt. Otherwise the salt will just sort of roll off it. Looks like our pan is nice and hot, so we'll get started on that. We've got some normal flour that we're just going to dust it in. It is just so that it sort of makes a crust and keeps everything together, and it doesn't just break apart. I just checked that it's hot. Here we go. I like to keep shaking the pan until I've seen that it's sort of made a crust, because it's very easy to get it stuck on the pan now. Yeah, that should be good. Again, baby jam. Any lettuce is good. At the bottom, you want to put your lettuce to protect the bun. Thank you, Gordon Ramsay, for drilling it into everyone. Beautiful. Not that I had any doubt. Okay, then we're going to quickly just give a few slices of tomato. We'll do 3 slices each. I like to season it just to make sure that every mouthful that you have is seasoned beautifully. Just salt and pepper. There we go. And red onion. Now you can use pickled onion or cooked caramelized onion, whatever you like. I just like raw onion. That's from living in India for so many years, that onion sort of just goes with everything. It's really amazing. We'll just give a thin slice. Well, we can be generous actually. Let's do that. How about that? Well, it's all up to you. So we'll just give some onion. While the vegetarian patty is going on, I'm gonna add my beef patty to the fire. I like mine to be medium rare. I'm gonna start assembling the vegetarian one, which is ready. And as you can see, it's got a nice crispy little crust on it. You wanna hear? I don't know if you can hear that, but it is beautiful. Just gonna place that on top. Make sure it doesn't fall apart. There you go. You can see on the bone marrow, it's starting to boil from the bottom. So chances are it's ready, or like in seconds away. So I know that it is safe for me to take it off, and they are cooked. Don't worry about the bottom of the bone. As you can see, it's burned, but it's sort of just a cooking vessel to cook through the bottom. But that is done. It's beautiful and golden, both sides. I can still feel it is nice and pink on the center. Onto the bun. And just to make it extra luxurious, we're gonna add our bacon. Oh, just careful of the veggie burger. Some bacon. Ooh, scoop out the bone marrow. Now, of course, you don't have to do this. This is quite intense, but hell, live a little. There we go. And there you have it. It's quite big, but I'm sure you'll make it work. How do you want it cooked? Oh, perfection. Medium rare veggie burger. I suppose I won't insult the meat lovers. Just give it a wipe. Here we go. Just make sure, confidence. Oh! You know what? Needs nothing. prep your breath. That's quite raunch.